This town deserves a better class of criminal, and I'm gonna give it to him.
Number 20. Auric Goldfinger. Goldfinger. There are a lot of famous Bond villains, yet Auric Goldfinger remains one of the super spies most well known.
Man has climbed Mount Everest, gone to the bottom of the ocean. He has fired rockets to the moon, split the atom, achieved miracles in every field of human endeavor, except crime.
The greedy gold smuggler is both cunning and savage. Goldfinger lives his life in the pursuit of wealth and plans to use a radioactive bomb to contaminate Fort Knox's gold supply, increasing the value of his own. While that's a bit over the top, he is a Bond villain after all. His methods are quite clever.
Do you expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die. There is nothing you can talk to me about that I don't already know.
He actually attempts to wash his hands of Bond at one point rather than play into his games, though this naturally doesn't work. Plus, he's got a great flair for theatrics, iconically using lasers and gold paint to kill his enemies. Number 19. Tom Ripley. The talented Mr. Ripley. Though he doesn't seem villainous at the beginning, Tom Ripley's unassuming nature is actually what makes him quite dangerous.
Everybody should have one talent. What's yours?
Forging signatures, telling lies, impersonating practically anybody.
That's 3. Nobody should have more than one talent.
Stumbling into a recruitment to bring home a wealthy shipping magnate's son, Tom soon becomes enraptured with the life he could lead both financially and socially. After becoming obsessed with and murdering the son, albeit accidentally, he steals his identity. From there, it's a tense game of cat and mouse as Tom constantly fools nearly everyone around him.
Do you keep a photograph of Senor Ripley?
I'm not in the habit of carrying around photographs of my male friends.
Through extremely quick thinking and sheer survival instincts, Tom gains an inheritance while deflecting both the police and the son's loved ones. He even gets away with it entirely, though not without paying a heavy price to ensure his freedom. Number 18. Khan Noonien Singh. Star Trek franchise.
Khan Noonien Singh is the most dangerous adversary the Enterprise ever faced. He is brilliant, ruthless, and he will not hesitate to kill every single one of you.
If Spock says he's the most dangerous villain the Enterprise crew ever faced, you know Khan has the brains to match the brawn. Khan is one of many genetically engineered superhumans. Of course, with that great power comes an extreme thirst for more. Khan is so ambitious, he gained leadership over others like him and took over part of Earth before becoming an immense threat to the larger universe later.
Surely I have made my meaning plain. I mean to avenge myself upon you, Admiral. I've deprived your ship of power, and when I swing around, I mean to deprive you of your life.
An alternate reality version of him is no less dangerous, where he's woken from cryogenic sleep to aid Starfleet. But with his immense intelligence and cunning nature, he nearly takes it down from the inside all by himself.
Well, Kirk, seems apt to return you to your crew. After all, no ship should go down without her captain.
Number 17. Anton Chigurh. No Country for Old Men. This crime thriller chronicles a man on the run after stealing $2 million from a botched drug deal. But if he knew the type of person sent after him to retrieve it, we have a feeling he never would have taken the money.
You know how this is gonna turn out, don't you?
Nope.
I think you do.
Javier Bardem's Anton Chigurh is a ruthless, unstoppable hitman who can terrify even the most courageous person. It isn't that he's just highly deadly, he's also incredibly intuitive when it comes to human behavior, making him a masterful interrogator and negotiator.
You don't have to do this.
People always say the same thing.
What did I say?
They say, you don't have to do this.
Despite protagonist Llewellyn's best efforts, Chigurh is never far behind and never dissuaded. Whether he's murdering without remorse or forcing people to guess a dangerous coin toss, he never fails to unnerve.
Call it.
All right. Heads, then.
Well done.
Number 16. Lex Luthor. Superman franchise. If you're going up against the most powerful being in existence, you better have supreme smarts. Luckily for Lex Luthor, he's intelligent and rich enough to usually give Superman a run for his money.
Do you know why the number 200 is so vitally descriptive to both you and me? What? It's your weight and my IQ. Now think, people, think!
Luthor has been portrayed by multiple actors in both live-action and animated films over the years, but they all share similar qualities. A genius inventor and CEO of his own evil tech company, Luthor essentially has access to anything he could ever want. Of course, everything he wants is usually used in his fight against Superman.
Now fly.
Being wily enough to constantly be a threat to someone so godlike is impressive, to say the least. Number 15. Roy. Primal Fear. For the most part, Primal Fear chronicles the court case of an altar boy's murder of an archbishop. As his lawyer comes to find out, young Aaron has been abused by the archbishop and his own father for years. This has led him to develop dissociative identity disorder, with his alternate persona taking the name Roy.
Where is Aaron? Aaron's crying off in some corner somewhere. You scared him off. You gotta deal with me now, boy.
Roy was the one responsible for the murder, leading to a verdict of not guilty by reason of insanity. It seems the best outcome for the tragic tale, and then the twist comes.
There never was a Roy.
Jesus Christ, Marty, if that's what you think, I am disappointed in you. I don't mind telling you. There never was an Aaron.
Roy has been in control the whole time, and, as he puts it, there never was an Aaron. Fooling an entire courtroom and the psychologist who diagnosed him is exceedingly dastardly. Number 14. Lee Woo-jin. Old Boy. After being imprisoned for 15 years and not even knowing why, Oh Dae-soo seeks out the man behind it to enact his vengeance. Unfortunately for him, his captor organized his torment meticulously, with his release even being part of the plan.
역시 당신은 내가 발명한 괴물이야. 저 근데요, 이러면 외를 할 수가 없잖아요? 15년 동안나 궁금했던 건데. 그래도 괜찮아요?
Lee Woo-jin means nothing to Dae-soo until the villain reveals his past. In high school, Lee had relations with his own sister, which Dae-soo found out about and told everyone. This led to his sister's death and Woo-jin's desire for vengeance against the man responsible. 15 years imprisoned is a pretty sizable punishment, but Woo-jin also used hypnosis on him, orchestrating an encounter and romance between Dae-soo and his own daughter, unrecognizable to him now.
다 알면서도 사랑했어요. 너희도 그럴 수 있을까?
Number 13. Raul Silva. Skyfall. Another Bond baddie and another phenomenal performance from Javier Bardem.
Destabilize a multinational by manipulating stocks, but easy. Interrupt transmissions from a spy satellite over Kabul. Done. Rig an election in Uganda, all to the highest bidder.
Raul Silva is a mysterious cyber-terrorist who always seems to be one step ahead of Bond. Having been a former field agent for MI6, he knows just how the organization will react, causing them to play right into his hands.
I do hope that wasn't for me.
But that is.
It isn't often that a Bond villain hits so close to home. Silva is able to make MI6 look like fools by bombing its building and linking M to a stolen list of NATO agents. Even though Bond is able to put a stop to Silva, it isn't before he deals a fatal wound to M, ultimately succeeding in his goals. Number 12. Professor Moriarty, Sherlock Holmes franchise. Sherlock Holmes is understandably considered one of the most intelligent characters in all of fiction. So, naturally, his arch-nemesis has the wits to match him.
Come now. You really think you're the only one who can play this game?
Adaptation of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's works have been around for almost as long as film itself, and so Moriarty has made a number of noteworthy appearances over the years. If Moriarty wanted to use his vast intellect for good, the world would be a better place. Unfortunately, his love of being superior over everyone else leads him to be an incredibly successful crime lord. As long as Sherlock Holmes adaptations exist, we'll always hope for a Professor Moriarty appearance. Number 11. Helmut Zemo, Captain America: Civil War. Many MCU villains, even some of the smarter ones, tried to defeat their heroes physically. What makes Zemo from Civil War so interesting and why he's actually successful is that he doesn't.
An empire toppled by its enemies can rise again. But one which crumbles from within, that's dead. Forever.
Seeking vengeance for the death of his family in Sokovia, Zemo works to turn the Avengers against each other. He operates in the shadows, framing Bucky for the murder of King Wakandan T'Chaka, and activating him as the Winter Soldier with his code words. While there was already tension within the group, Zemo knew exactly which buttons to press to make the team crumble from within. And it's because of him that Earth's defenders are divided when Thanos comes knocking. Number 10. Colonel Hans Landa, Inglourious Bastards. Being a Nazi makes Hans Landa pretty evil, but being a ridiculously brilliant one makes him terrifying.
What's that American expression? If the shoe fits, you must wear it.
Was jetzt Oberst?
With his spectacular eye for detail and ability to read people, Landa would make an exceptional detective. In Nazi-occupied France, though, he uses his skill to track and capture Jews, earning him the nickname the Jew Hunter.
Actually, why he would hate the name the Hangman's baffling to me. It would appear he's done everything in his power to earn it. But I, on the other hand, love my unofficial title, precisely because I've earned it.
He'll often lay the charm on heavily until he gets someone comfortable, turning cold and striking when they're at ease. He can also speak multiple languages and is smart enough to not let loyalty get in the way when his side begins to lose.
And I would like the United States of America to purchase property for me on Nantucket Island as a reward for all the countless lives I've saved by bringing the tyranny of the National Socialist Party to a swifter than imagined end. Do you have all that, sir?
Landa is cruel, ambitious, shrewd, and charming all at once, able to outsmart nearly anyone. Number 9. The Joker, The Dark Knight. Despite being armed to the teeth with nifty gadgets and being a bona fide genius in his own right, Batman has a tough time keeping up with this version of the clown prince of crime. Heath Ledger's interpretation comes with the unpredictable nature we've seen in other versions, but he's chaotic in multiple ways, playing for the bigger picture and not caring about wealth.
It's not about money, it's about sending a message.
As the Joker murders city officials and bluffs his way through outsmarting the Dark Knight, it's not hard to be blown away. There's no way for Batman to know what he's going to do next, because there's no other criminal like him. The Joker has always been conniving and anarchical, with both qualities on excellent display here.
See, madness, as you know, is like gravity. All it takes is a little push.
Number 8. Hans Gruber, Die Hard. If not for one little cop's marital problems, Hans Gruber would have pulled off one of the cleverest film heists of all time.
Due to the Nakatomi Corporation's legacy of greed around the globe, they are about to be taught a lesson in the real use of power. You will be witnesses.
Hans gathers a ruthless group of thugs and hackers and ruins the Christmas party at Nakatomi Plaza. His goal is to break into the building's vault and steal $640 million worth of negotiable bearer bonds. But he makes a charade of demanding the release of several terrorists from prisons around the world. Not only does this keep the authorities busy, but Hans also plans for the FBI to shut down power. As the safe's last lock is electromagnetic, that's exactly what he needed to happen. Too bad John McClane spoils it all.
Why'd you have to nuke the whole building, Hans?
Well, when you steal $600, you can't just disappear. When you steal 600 million, they will find you unless they think you're already dead. Put down the gun.
Number 7. John Kramer, Saw franchise. If you've planned for several movies worth of events following your death, chances are you're pretty smart.
You're good at anticipating the human mind. It leaves nothing to chance.
John Kramer, aka Jigsaw, had an epiphany following a near-death experience. He found an appreciation for life and wanted to instill it in others. Like some sort of twisted, hands-on motivational speaker, he tries to teach others by placing them in complex death traps.
Most people are so ungrateful to be alive. But not you. Not anymore.
The civil engineering that goes into these elaborate setups has to be admired, even if the result is horrific. While he's alive, he consistently fools the police, and after his death in Saw 3, he's shown to still be pulling some strings posthumously.
You think it's the living that will have ultimate judgment over you, because the dead will have no claim over your soul.
Number 6. Ozymandias, Watchmen.
I mean, hell, you're the smartest man on the planet.
Doesn't take a genius to see the world has problems.
Yeah, but it takes a room full of morons who think they're small enough for you to handle.
Well, they don't call him the world's smartest man for nothing. With the world on the brink of nuclear war, Ozymandias knows he has to do something. What he does is entirely diabolical, yet it actually works. Using his former teammates as pawns in his scheme, he kills the comedian, orchestrates Dr. Manhattan's exile, and frames Rorschach for murder. He also stages an attempt on his life to throw everyone off his scent.
Who sent you? I want a name. Give me a name!
With the heroes busy dealing with everything else, Ozymandias arranges for reactors to detonate in major cities. By framing Dr. Manhattan, he believes this will unite the world against a common enemy in peace, which is exactly what happened. It comes at the cost of innumerable lives.
I'm not a comic book villain. Do you seriously think I'd explain my masterstroke to you if there were even the slightest possibility you could affect the outcome? I triggered it 35 minutes ago.
Number 5. John Doe, 7. David Fincher's disturbing masterpiece follows two detectives on the trail of a unique serial killer. Each one of John Doe's victims represents one of the 7 deadly sins, not only in their lifestyle, but in how he kills them. The fates of lust and sloth are particularly sadistic. While he isn't seen for the majority of the movie, it's clear Doe's mind is very bright and his plan diligently thought out. When he does turn himself in, it's in the service of the greater scheme.
I'm setting the example. And what I've done is going to be puzzled over and studied and followed forever.
With only 2 sins left to complete, Doe reveals he murdered Detective Mills' wife, becoming envy and forcing Mills to become wrath. Although Doe is killed in the end, he certainly doesn't lose. Number 4. HAL 9000, 2001: A Space Odyssey. While this villain's intelligence was created rather than earned, that doesn't stop HAL 9000 from being one of the most menacing big-screen baddies of all time.
My mission responsibilities range over the entire operation of the ship, so I am constantly occupied. I am putting myself to the fullest possible use, which is all I think that any conscious entity can ever hope to do.
Initially created to aid the crew of the Discovery 1, HAL begins experiencing slight malfunctions when the crew decides to shut the AI down out of fear of a potentially catastrophic incident. That's when things start to heat up. As it's in charge of the ship's systems, HAL begins killing off the crew rather than have them jeopardize the mission. An AI gone bad is a terrifying force in a variety of sci-fi works, and Douglas Rain's chillingly calm performance makes HAL an all-time great.
Hal, I won't argue with you anymore. Open the doors.
Dave, this conversation can serve no purpose anymore. Goodbye.
Number 3. Emperor Palpatine, Star Wars franchise. This Sith Lord is one of the most recognizable big-screen villains of all time, and for good reason.
Our people are dying, Senator. We must do something quickly to stop the Federation.
To be realistic, Your Majesty, I think we're going to have to accept Federation control for the time being.
In the prequels, he's shown to be excellent at operating behind the curtain, pulling the necessary strings to increase his status in the Galactic Senate. The fall of the Jedi is the result of his cunning wit and his grip on Anakin Skywalker.
You're fulfilling your destiny, Anakin. Become my apprentice. Learn to use the dark side of the Force.
With the power of the dark side and some extreme manipulation, he rules over the galaxy through the Empire. Despite his death and how problematic of a twist it was, he's even able to cheat death by having the foresight to create his own clones. That's some serious determination.
Do not fear their feeble attack, my faithful. Nothing will stop the return of the Sith!
Number 2. Roger Verbal Kint, The Usual Suspects. As a small-time crook with cerebral palsy, most probably wouldn't look twice at Verbal Kint, and that is exactly the point.
Keaton always said, I don't believe in God, but I'm afraid of him. Well, I believe in God, and the only thing that scares me is Kaiser Soze.
After being brought in by police when his comrades are killed, Verbal tells the story of how they were controlled by an enigmatic crime lord named Kaiser Soze. Throughout his interrogation and in flashbacks, Verbal is shown to be timid, naive, and the least ambitious of the group. His story even leads Agent Kuyan to declare one of Kint's accomplices the real Soze. In actuality, who knows what, if anything, about Kint's story is true. As his bail is posted and he walks out of the station, the real Kaiser Soze dispels the Disability Act and gets away scot-free.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist. And like that, he's gone.
Number 1. Dr. Hannibal Lecter, Hannibal Lecter franchise. This well-spoken former psychiatrist has a fondness for mind games, which Clarice Starling becomes more than familiar with in The Silence of the Lambs when she enlists his help to catch a serial killer.
Do you know what you look like to me with your good bag and your cheap shoes? You look like a rube. A well-scrubbed, hustling rube with a little taste.
He's shown to have a brilliant understanding of the criminal mind. It's just too bad he also loves the taste of human flesh. He helps Starling build a profile for the killer known as Buffalo Bill, but only in exchange for personal information, severely creeping her and us out.
If I help you, Clarice, it will be turns with us too. Quid pro quo. I tell you things, you tell me things. Not about this case, though. About yourself. Quid pro quo. Yes or no?
His true levels of horrifying genius are shown when he expertly plans and executes a prison escape. He has less screen time than most other villains, but what he does with that time is pure cinematic bliss.
I do wish we could chat longer, but I'm having an old friend for dinner. Bye.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.